Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. AI and chatbots are undoubtedly the biggest buzzwords of 2017. AI is quickly growing, but chatbots are still broken, if we're completely honest. I mean, in the words of Mark Twain, the reports of my death are greatly exaggerated, and the same can be said with AI or chatbots taking over call centre agent jobs. The truth is, call centres with human agents are not about to die out, despite the influence that AI offers to improve the call centre's customer experience. Yes, AI is burgeoning and across industry sectors, with companies investing up to $39 billion in 2016 alone, leaving many people to ask, is this tech growing too fast? Some would say yes, unless of course that AI can play a big part in actually really improving that customer experience. And the evidence shows that it can and that it is. And also it's not at the expense of jobs. Now, Augment is a new customer experience AI platform that's aiming to bridge the gap between artificial intelligence and customer support with its human-in-the-loop approach that assists call centre agents via live chat, all backed up by machine learning. So buckle up and hold on tight, because I want to beam your ears all the way to San Francisco so we can speak with Augment CEO Matt Swanson, who's going to share his insights on why Fortune 500 companies like Dyson are chomping at the bit to implement this technology in their live chat application for the holiday season. So welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone who is listening today a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, well, I am a roboticist by training, by background. And for the past 8 years, I've been launching various artificial intelligent companies. And really my goal is to bring AI capabilities to the world and try to show the positive side to AI working with society versus the dystopian outlook that everyone seems to like to talk about. So a little bit about my ambitions.
Why is it we keep hearing these dystopian stories? One of the things that really annoys me is a lot of people are using science fiction movies. You know, these are fictional movies, fictional books, and using them as like a real reference point that this is fact, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is kind of what's catchy and what will bring in box office tickets. So unfortunately, that's kind of influenced the mind share of society. And, now that we're seeing AI really start to take off, people are getting, more and more concerned. And there is a more positive side to what's happening and what's going to happen in the near future. And, part of my goals with Augment are to show some of those positive sides.
Absolutely. Now, Augment there is a leader in customer experience-driven artificial intelligence that actually recently emerged from stealth to launch its industry-first customer experience AI platform. But can you tell me more about this new platform and also what problems you're attempting to solve with it?
Absolutely. So to give a little context, we're seeing a lot of challenges between brand and consumer interactions. So everyone's had their favorite notorious 1-800 experience where they said they'll never buy that product again because going through that process was so painful. And because of that, we're now seeing an explosion in new forms of communication. People are preferring going to the live chat or using Messenger or these new communication channels. And with that, there's an opportunity to use artificial intelligence to help streamline those conversations in ways we can't currently do with voice. So Augment is bringing AI capabilities into these contact centers to allow these brand representatives to have better conversations with customers.
So can you tell me more about how this AI platform also bridges the gap between artificial intelligence and customer support? Or with this, and I do like this phrase that you use here, human-in-the-loop approach that assists call centre agents all via live chat, but ultimately backed by machine learning at the same time?
Yeah, so if we look at kind of the recent progress in conversational AI. We've seen a lot of false starts with things like chatbots. I'm sure you've covered that in the past,
Yeah.
where aspirational technologies that don't hold up to industry demands. So things that are trying to emulate human conversation and human intellect end up coming short simply because we haven't yet passed the Turing test, which is this benchmark for when we actually have true artificial intelligence. We're a ways off from that moment. And I think that's what scares people is, have we gotten there? Am I ready for it? And the answer is no, we aren't there. And there's going to be this in between phase of different forms of AI working symbiotically with humans to the best of both worlds, the best of what AI is good at and the best of what human intelligence is good at. So that's what we're focused on, is bringing practical capabilities, things like surfacing data that exists all across the enterprise and bringing it to the forefront of the agent who's talking to the customer so that they can answer the question faster. They can identify new opportunities that the customer is seeking, but may not be readily apparent to the human eye. We can use AI to get all that data, structure it so that it's accessible and usable for these human representatives to have better conversations.
Now, there is so much talk lately about AI and robots taking away jobs. So it's great to hear that you're talking about actually technology working alongside humans rather than removing those jobs. But refreshingly, I read you guys actually believe that AI can play a big part in improving the whole customer experience. And evidence shows that it can and that it is, but not at the expense of jobs. I mean, can you expand on that?
Yeah, and this is exactly what the opportunity that got me excited about starting this platform in the first place is, there was a lot of conversation around these end-to-end chatbots that would, replace all these different these various jobs, and the reality is that that hype wore off. Those chatbots didn't work. And there was an opportunity to use AI to actually create new types of work. And so, what we're doing is finding that customer demand for brand interaction has exploded. And brands don't have enough staff currently to keep up with all those conversations. So it ends up being, a poor experience for customers who are waiting for people to talk back. And for the brand's bottom line, they are missing opportunities to convert customers. So a McKinsey report came out last year that really kind of hones in on this. And what they found is that only 5% of jobs in the enterprise are ripe for full automation, but 45% of jobs are ripe for this kind of partial automation assisted by humans. And that's what we're seeing is we can bring those sort of AI capabilities to existing call center staff so that they can start answering more of these customer conversations that are simply being missed today for lack of resourcing.
So essentially, you're improving the customer experience with the human touch by using technology as a tool. So essentially, you can have the best of both worlds rather than at the expense of jobs. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's not just about keeping up with all the remnant demand that can't be serviced. It's also about enabling these human agents to have more meaningful conversations. So if you look at the type of interactions that happen today, there's a lot of repeated conversations. That gets very boring very fast. What these call center reps really want to do is help somebody. And what we're finding is that by using AI to kind of simplify some of those more mundane operations, the agents can focus on, what's important to this customer, personalization, coming up with brand messaging that really resonates with the customer, and new products that they wouldn't have time to even think about recommending when they're overloaded with these more basic operations. So it's about servicing all the remnant demand, but also creating new, more valuable experiences that brand reps can't service today.
No, I also read recently that Augment recently partnered with cognitive marketing agency called AIQ to deliver AI-driven marketing campaigns. Can you tell me more about that new partnership? 'Cause it sounds an incredibly exciting opportunity for you guys.
Well, yeah, we are very excited to work with Greg Murtaugh, Soren Mills. These are veterans in the go-to-market verticals for CPG, retail, et cetera. And if you look at these brands, these big retailers, they're all struggling to keep up with the digitization in commerce. And so AI can be a tool to allow these companies to compete with Amazon and some of these technology companies, but enabling these workforces, coming up with the programs takes that kind of hand-holding. And this is what we've partnered with, where Augment can be that platform that allows for these brands and retailers to have the technology of an Amazon, but then have it guided into their organization through the expertise of these go-to-market veterans. So it's a very exciting partnership, and we'll have a lot more announcements coming up in the new year about some of the companies that we're helping.
So just to help anyone listening visualize just what a difference you guys are making, do you have any examples or indeed use cases of how you've delivered and improved a brand experience, all through messaging and live chat applications, or indeed this technology?
Yeah, in general, we're helping brands pave the way for asynchronous communication channels with customers. So I was talking earlier about the 1-800 experience, which customers really hate, and allowing brands to really scale up in these new live chat and messaging environments. So, that's the starting point of usually how brands look at the value behind what we're bringing to them. But if we go a little deeper, imagine your refrigerator's broken, the ice maker's not working. Figuring out what's going wrong there can be very frustrating. But if we can simplify the communication channel through, again, live chat messaging, and enable a human representative on the other end to handle 6 conversations at once versus, say, 2, which is what we're seeing, then all of a sudden more customers get their answers faster than any other experience they would have today. So it's really about streamlining, bringing faster responses to all these customers who are really seeking help.
Now, we did begin with this point here, but do you think there really is a lack of understanding around what AI can do or cannot do, or even the limitations, after watching too many movies such as Ex Machina or Her, etc.?
Yeah, that is the theme. And actually, even beyond that, so Hollywood has kind of painted that picture. Yeah. And then we see all these amazing technologies coming out of Silicon Valley with, Google just launched AlphaGo, beating the top Go player in the world. Yeah. And, not too long ago, Watson did the same thing with chess. And so there's this conception that, hey, maybe something has changed. Maybe, real artificial intelligence has come out of some magical algorithm. The reality is much different. If you actually look into what's going on in the background, there's usually armies of human labelers, human workers who are going through and creating these data sets that kind of create these very specific intelligent agents. So ultimately, the paradigm that I like to help companies think through is that AI is very good at structuring large data sets. And AI can do this better than any human ever could, right? Millions and millions of records. But when it comes to making a judgment of appropriateness, this is where human intelligence is and will be for the foreseeable future essential to quality. So we're not at the point where AI can just go off and make these decisions on its own. But it can leverage large data sets that are now available because the explosion of cloud data over the past 10 years. So that's how I like to explain the differences between AI and human intelligence, structuring data versus making decisions. That's kind of the symbiosis that can leverage both AI and human intelligence.
So as we approach the end of 2017, where artificial intelligence and machine learning has dominated the entire year here, and there's a lot of businesses that are exaggerating what they can and cannot do with it. But now we're at that time of year where we need to look forward. So what is your vision for 2018? I mean, what big trends do you see for next year? And also, what plans do you have for Augment, or anything that you can share with us today?
Certainly. Well, I think we're going to continue to see progress with AI adoption, but again, more practical. We're going to see less of the, buzzy headlines and more about how brands are using AI to improve their employees to become more productive. And ultimately, I think this is going to drive the global economy. We see that there's stagnation and the productivity gains in developed countries have tapered off. AI is going to be that boost that brings us back up to some of the explosive growth we saw post World War II. So I think we're going to see that movement start to galvanize in the corporate world, which is very exciting. With Augment, I could say that we've seen so much eagerness in especially large companies, Fortune 500s. Again, we're going to be talking about some of the results we've seen with the 7 Fortune 500 accounts we're working with today, coming early next year. But essentially, we're going to see Augment helping companies compete with Amazon, right? As the customer journey shifts from offline to online, the experience is what's going to differentiate a customer's preference from going to a brand or going to a portal like Amazon. That's where things are going to get really exciting, is as the experience moves to conversational versus self-service. Conversational AI capabilities, brand representatives powered with AI is what's going to allow companies to compete in the digital world. And that's really our focus, our number one focus next year, making that vision possible for all these brands and retailers.
It is an incredibly exciting space to be in at the moment. And I've got a feeling that we are going to be speaking to you again next year with an update on this. But until then, where can anyone listening stay in touch with your latest developments there at Augment, and also ask your team any questions about our conversation today? Well,
absolutely. We love to engage with the community, especially people curious to hear, the reality of AI and try to navigate the buzz. So our Twitter handle is Augment AI. You can find us on LinkedIn. Powered by Augment is our handle on LinkedIn. So reach out through those channels, follow us there, and we would certainly love to come back and talk about some of our findings coming in 2018.
Fantastic. Well, I'll definitely be inviting you back on, because I think a combination of Hollywood movies and large corporations with keynote speeches promising the world causes a lot of confusion, and that confusion can also cause a little bit of fear. But I think what you've done today is, I think between the smoke and mirrors, you've been able to show us what goes on behind the curtain, and how actually AI is something to be embraced rather than feared. And that is a fantastic thing. So a big thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, well, it was my pleasure, and looking forward to coming back and sharing insights here soon.
After the recording, Matt was telling me how the Augment platform increases agent throughput by 30%. But the big takeaway here is that technology and humans are working alongside each other in a symbiotic relationship. That is the real key to making this work. Because AI tech is in its infancy at the moment, and many companies are exaggerating its capabilities right now. And tech websites are also choosing to scare businesses and workers by reporting worst-case scenarios as fact. Tales of a dystopian future based on fictional books and movies are of little or no help to anyone. Once again, it's understanding how tech and humans can work together. But we don't hear people talking about this, and I guess that is seen as boring and won't generate enough clicks for ad revenue or even sell magazines and newspapers. But hey, no mystery is closed to an open mind, as the old saying goes. But you know the drill by now. Rather than listen to me spouting my opinions every day, why not share your own? This is your platform too. Because the way to personal growth is by debating with other people who challenge your worldview and thought process. So to stop my head from growing, please feel free to bring me down a notch or two by emailing me with your insights at techblogwriter@outlook.com, or equally tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. But that's it for today's episode, I'm afraid. I will return tomorrow with another fantastic guest and hopefully some food for thought too. So a genuine thank you to each and every one of you listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.